I want to tell you about a moment, a very specific moment that happens in schools every single day across this country, and almost nobody talks about it. It is the moment a teacher decides to quit, not the day she submits her resignation letter. That day comes much later when she actually gives the resignation. I'm talking about the real moment, the quiet moment, the moment that happens inside a classroom or a staff room, or sometimes on the drive home, where something inside a good teacher switches off. No drama, no announcement, no warning signs that anyone around her can see. She just decides. And from that day, she still comes to school. She still takes her classes. She still attends the staff meetings. But she is already gone. In 3 decades of working inside Indian schools, I have seen this moment happen more times than I can count. And what breaks my heart every single time is that it was always preventable. Today, I'm going to take you inside that moment. Because if you are a principal or a school owner watching this, understanding this moment might be the most important thing you do this session. And it doesn't happen suddenly. The first thing you need to understand is that this moment never happens suddenly. It is never one incident, never one bad day, never one difficult parent or one unfair decision. It is an accumulation, a slow, quiet, invisible accumulation of 100 small moments that nobody noticed. Let me tell you what those moments look like. She prepares for 3 hours on a Sunday night for a lesson she is genuinely excited about. She delivers it on Monday. Nobody mentions it, not the coordinator, not the principal, not even a passing comment. She submits every lesson plan on time, every single week for an entire term. And the only time anyone speaks to her about lesson plans is when one is late. She identifies a weak student in her class by week 3. She informs the coordinator. She starts her own informal support. She tracks that child's progress quietly. Nobody follows up. Nobody asks. Nobody knows. She raises a concern in a staff meeting about something that is genuinely affecting teaching quality. The principal says, noted, and moves on. It is never brought up again. Each of these moments alone is small. Together over weeks, over months, they tell a teacher one very clear message. What you do does not matter here. And the day teacher truly believes that is the day she decides to quit. Even if she does not leave for another year. Now, I will speak about 3 moments that break a teacher. In all my years of working with teachers, I have found that there are 3 specific types of moments that break a teacher faster than anything else. Number one, when the school does not protect her. A parent comes to school angry, loud, unreasonable, and the school, in order to keep that parent happy, sides with the parent without hearing the teacher's side, without standing beside her even once. She handles it alone. She apologizes even when she was not wrong. She absorbs the humiliation professionally, quietly, completely. And she goes back to her classroom and she thinks, once it forms in her mind, never fully goes away. Moment two, when her growth is invisible, she has been teaching for 7 years. She has grown enormously, consistently. She mentors new teachers informally, and yet she is treated exactly the same as the teacher who joined last month. No acknowledgement, no additional responsibility, no career conversation. No one has ever sat down with her and said, "We see you, we value you, here is where we see you going." She's not asking for a promotion, she is asking to be seen, and she is not. Now, moment number three, when she is exhausted and still asked for more. Exam season, extra duties, parent meetings, report writing, co curricular activities, coordination, substitute classes. She does all of it without complaint because she is committed. And then on the most exhausting Friday of the term, she is told, "Can you also handle the annual day coordination this year?" No asking, no acknowledging what she is already carrying. Just one more thing. And she says yes, because that is who she is. And she drives home that evening and she cries. Not because of the annual day, because nobody, not once, asked her how she was managing. That moment, that specific moment, is when the decision forms. Now, principals, I want to speak to you directly. I know you care about your teachers. I know you are busy. I know you are managing 100 things simultaneously. But I want you to hear something. The teacher who is about to quit is never the one causing problems. She is never the one arriving late, never the one complaining in the staff room. She is the quiet one, the reliable one, the one you depend on without even realizing it. And because she never causes problems, she never gets attention until the day she puts a resignation letter on your desk. And you are shocked. You think, where did this come from? It came from July. It came from September. It came from that staff meeting in November where you moved on before she finished speaking. It came from 100 small moments that you were too busy to notice. I am not saying this to make you feel guilty. I am saying this because awareness is the first step. And the second step is very simple. Start noticing, not just the teachers who demand attention. Notice the ones who never do. So, what keeps a good teacher from reaching that moment? In 3 decades, I have seen it come down to five things, and none of them cost money. One, being seen, a principal who notices effort and says so, not in a grand ceremony, not in a formal appreciation letter, just in a corridor. "I noticed what you did for that student last week. That mattered." Two sentences, that is enough. Number two, being protected. When a parent is unreasonable, the school stands beside the teacher publicly, clearly, without hesitation. A teacher who knows her school has her back will walk through fire for that school. Three, being heard. Her concerns are not just noted, they are followed up. Even if the answer is, "We considered it and decided differently." She deserves to know that her voice was not lost in the room. Four, being trusted. She's given responsibility that matches her capability. She is trusted to make decisions in her classroom. She is not micromanaged. She is not second guessed in front of students or parents. Five, being asked, "How are you doing?" Not as a formality, as a real question with a pause to actually hear the answer. These five things cost nothing. They are the difference between a teacher who stays for 20 years and a teacher who leaves after two. I want to end with something personal. In my 3 decades, I have been a teacher, a coordinator, a principal, and I remember the moment in my own career when I almost decided to quit. It was not a dramatic moment. Nobody shouted at me. Nothing terrible happened. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I had just finished a session with a group of students that I felt genuinely proud of. And I walked past 3 people in the corridor, including my principal, and not one of them asked, "How did it go?" Such a small thing, such an ordinary Tuesday. And yet I drove home that evening and thought, does any of this matter to anyone but me? It was enough to keep me going. But not every teacher gets that moment of being noticed. And that is a loss. Not just for that teacher, for every student she would have taught, for every life she would have shaped, for every year of extraordinary teaching that this world never got to see. Principals, school owners, coordinators, please, before you review the timetable this week, before you check the lesson plans, before you plan the next PTM, walk into your school tomorrow and notice your teachers, not what they are doing, who they are, and whether they still believe it is worth it. Because once they stop believing, you cannot get them back. Not really. If this video made you think about your school, about your teachers, about your culture, about what is quietly happening beneath the surface, then I want you to know culture does not fix itself. It is built intentionally with systems, with awareness, and with leadership that genuinely cares. I work with schools across India to build that culture from the inside out. And I have built a complete academic system pack that gives your coordinator and principal the tools they need so that the operational pressure never falls on your teachers alone. Because a school with strong systems is a school where teachers can actually teach, and teachers who can actually teach do not reach that Tuesday afternoon moment. Link is in the description. DM me on Instagram. See you in another video. Take care.